Welcome to the James Rice Show, a humorous, entertaining, and sometimes thought-provoking look at teaching and studying abroad. Join the conversation as James guides you through his experiences and provides insights into how to improve your English and how to improve your teaching of English. And now, here's the man you've been waiting for, James Rice.
Coming up on this week's episode, a COVID-19 roundup. Should you study abroad? When should you study abroad? Where should you study abroad? We will answer all these questions, all coming up on The James Rice Show. Hello, my students and fellow educators. Welcome to this week's episode of The James Rice Show. I am James, broadcasting from Toronto, Canada. And thank you for tuning in. I am the author of the Study It ESL textbooks. And as many of you know, I ran a language school here in Toronto for over 15 years. And I've been involved in the language travel industry for 25 years. Can you believe that? That's incredible. So this week, I'm giving you my advice, and I've been holding off, trying to hope for the best with this COVID-19, but it's just all bad news for the language travel industry. And not all bad news. There's some good news out there, but I want to give you students, especially, some ideas about where to study abroad, what to expect, where you should go. Should you go? Should you even go abroad? And we're going to take a look at some of the major destinations that many students go to study English or to go to college or go to high school. We're going to look at Canada, the UK, USA, New Zealand, and Australia. So we're going to go over those 5 countries, what's happening, and should you go there or not? Okay, that's what the question we're going to try to answer today is all about. So first, I do want to tell you, you're going to have to quarantine when you travel. So if you go abroad, expect to be asked to be quarantined for 14 days. So if you are going to go for a short-term English course, or you're thinking about it, I do not recommend you to do this in 2020. And it pains me. It hurts deep inside, because this is one of the businesses that I ran, was short-term language courses. It pains me to say you should not do it. It's just not worth it to go for a short-term course at this time. Now, if you are planning to go to college, university, or high school where you're going to be spending, up to a year abroad, well, 14 days is not that long, and you will most likely be doing some online learning anyways while you are going to college, university, or high school. So that is okay. All right, that's fine. 14 days is not a big deal. And in fact, you should be expecting to do online learning in some form if you're going to college or university or high school. All right. Now, my big suggestion here, and I'm putting this right at the beginning of the show, so if you don't listen to anything else, listen to this suggestion, because this is critical if you want to improve your English and you want to get ready to study next year, 2021, where I think it's going to be a huge year for all the language schools out there. So my big suggestion, try some online learning now. See how each school teaches. If you like the classes, if you like their teachers, if you like the way they teach, now is a great time for you to experiment with different schools around the world, because many schools are offering online classes and the prices are very, very cheap. So you could take a month, you can take a week at a different school, move around, see what you like. And 2020 is a great year to experiment. Test the waters. That's a good idiom. Test the waters. Experiment. Try new things. See if you like a British school. Maybe you want to go to New Zealand. Maybe you want to try some online learning there. Or hey, why not try something totally different like Malta? Try Malta. Try learning online at a school in Malta. Learn online in 2020. See what you like. Travel the world. There are some great prices out there by the language schools that you should take advantage of right now. And learn a little bit about that school's personality. And if you are a school, get online, be online, of course, and sell your school for next year. Show some videos, show some activities, show what you guys are doing out there. All right, so if you're educators, you got to think like that. You got to think 2021. Now, cost is always a big, big concern. So before going abroad, you need to ask yourself, do you have the money? Can you afford to go abroad now? Are there any discounts? Some schools in Canada and the UK are actually increasing tuition fees. Yeah, I think some universities, by about 10%. I mean, it's a bad idea. It's a bad idea. In 2021, the UK is actually looking to increase their fees generally right across the board. So that is just bad business right now in a pandemic. I get it. I understand, but just bad ideas. So let's take a look at the UK first, since we are talking about the UK. Now, the UK government is currently debating how to support English schools. So that's the good news. That is the good news. But it is expected that 30% of ESL schools in England may close their doors. And that's the bad news. And the UK...
Have you downloaded the Study It ESL textbooks yet for your classroom? The Study It textbooks are the first ever digital and interactive textbooks. Once downloaded, Wi-Fi is no longer required. Each book contains video and audio exercises, detailed grammar keynotes, reading and writing assignments, and amazing speaking projects. Grammar, conversation, pronunciation, business English, and listening textbooks are available. Visit www.studyitbooks.com for more information.
In the UK. Now, students do want to go back to the UK. English UK research shows 80% of students want to return to the UK. That is the good news. And the government is talking about support for language centers. Just the bad news is it doesn't look like it's coming this year. All right. That is the very bad news. Now, according to Jody Gray, the interim chief executive of English UK, around 90% of all UK ELT staff have been furloughed. So that means they've been laid off without pay, but the government is giving the teachers support, financial support for now. But that's going to change from August, and it's going to end in October. And Canada is also pretty much the same situation, where we're ending all of our support for teachers and money support for workers, not just teachers, but all workers, in October. So Gray says that without an extension, this is going to really hurt teachers, where they're going to have to be laid off and they're going to lose their jobs. And it's going to hurt schools as well, because they're not going to be able to hire and keep and maintain many of those teachers, because the government funding will run out. So, in my opinion, be careful of the UK. Research carefully the center. Be careful, actually, of any school offering deep, deep discounts. This can mean they are in trouble financially. Make sure, if you are working with an agent, that you have something in writing to support you if the school closes. They're talking 30% school closures. 30%, that's 3 out of 10 in the UK. So what will happen to you if the school closes? Who will you contact? Who's going to take care of you? You need to make sure you are aware of how to do that. Now, there will be support, so I don't want to scare you. There will be support. Agents will support you, and we have language associations around the world, English UK, Languages Canada here in Canada. They will support you. So don't be afraid, but you should be aware. You need that information in your back pocket. All right, let's take a look at Canada, since that's where I am right now, and I am probably most knowledgeable about. Now, the good news here in Canada is that our COVID-19 numbers are going down, and as of July 1st, visas are now being issued. Everything is back up and operational for Canada's immigration. Now, they may be slow, that goes without saying, but at least they are moving forward. But like the UK, there is a lot of concern. Languages Canada has stated that there needs to be a special visa, or there could be total devastation. Again, catastrophic, total devastation. Already 2 major chain schools have closed their schools in Vancouver, in Lingua, and Global Village. These are major brands. So Canadian schools, colleges, universities, they're all asking for support, but so far, nada, nothing, zero from the Canadian government. So the Canadian government is offering loans to the businesses, but it does not seem to be willing to offer any other help. So expect Canadian schools to be online. Most universities are going online in the fall. BCIT, which is one of the big colleges in British Columbia, stated 55% of BCIT programs can be delivered fully online, and 34% are going to have a blended model. Blended means some in class, some online. So colleges are ready to go online. So language schools, colleges, most likely in Canada are all going to be online this fall from September to December. So again, good time to experiment. Try out some of these schools. See which one you like. Try something new. Try something different. Go online. See what online teaching program you like. Because, hey, if they can invest and make their online programs work and pop and be great, then you're going to have most likely, you're going to have a great experience at their school next year if you decide to go. If they can't function online, then that means there's some sort of problem within their organization. And there's no excuse. They've had time to get this stuff up and running. And hey, schools, use our study it books if you need content. Some schools have been contacting us about content. Grab it, download it. Teachers can use it. It's great content for online learning. And if you're just being shown PDFs and stuff like that you can find yourself online, that school is not well prepared. So be ready. All right. The USA, the United States of America, 44% of undergraduate and graduate students are very worried about immigration and visa concerns, according to SERU. It's a group that surveys 30,000 university students. Now, what I'm hearing from agents is visa rejection, visa rejection, visa rejection from the U.S. So something is going on there. And of course, the USA has been getting a lot of bad publicity because what it seems to be their inability to control COVID-19 in some of their key places, Florida, Texas. The U.S. has become the global epicenter of this disease. 2.3 million confirmed as of right now, and more than 120,000 deaths. But 63% of U.S. colleges plan to have students back on campus this September. What? How can this be? 63% of U.S. colleges are going to open the door and run their campus as usual. Sounds crazy, right? However, the United States is a complicated animal. And as ApplyWave has told us on Friday, so you should be listening to our Friday episodes for this great information, their COVID-19 is not everywhere. Okay, so going to non-traditional places in more middle America, like Ohio, okay, where one of our ApplyWave ladies, Mackenzie, is from, going to middle America might be a safe option. Okay, so yeah, there's nothing going on there. So why not go? Check where each state has better control over the virus and then decide where you're going to go in America. All right, so don't be fooled about the U.S. numbers. They got hit hard. New York especially got hit hard. And, of course, we know Florida and Texas are being hit again due to, obviously, some errors in terms of how they handled the virus. But it's not all of America. All right, so you need to check and be careful. Again, great time to go online, study online, check out the different schools, and see how they teach. All right. New Zealand. Let's go across the world to New Zealand. And international students, according to the Finance Minister, Grant Robertson, he stated this: international students are unlikely to return to New Zealand this year. However, New Zealand is expected to release a recovery plan for international education next month. All right. So they have thrown in the towel. All right. That means they've kind of given up on this year. New Zealand has said, you know what? It ain't happening this year. Forget about 2020. All right. UK, Canada, we're all fighting for government help. Government of New Zealand said, you're not getting any help. Okay. Now, it may change. It may change. All right. The finance minister said that they're moving toward an international student market will take some time. All right. So clearly, New Zealand has settled in and accepted the reality of 2020. The good news for New Zealand and the schools and the educators there is that the government does seem to have a 4-year recovery plan, and they do plan to release it sometime. This month, perhaps next month. And I know there are people with visas waiting to get to New Zealand this fall, and I hope it will become clearer this month. So in my view, New Zealand is far, far ahead of UK, Canada, and the USA. They seem to be accepting the situation and looking for ways to get the economy back on track safely and, most importantly, realistically. Okay, they understand this is a bad situation. There's no way governments can help all the industries. It is just not possible. So the question we have with New Zealand is, let's wait and see. Let's see what they do in terms of coming up with a model to help their country. And perhaps that strategy will also be used by other countries, because New Zealand's done a great job with COVID-19 in terms of controlling the pandemic. Best in terms of all English-speaking countries. So if that is one of the main factors, who takes care of students the best, New Zealand is by far the winner. All right, last one is Australia. Now, Australia has begun to welcome some international students back. Yeah, 350 international students to be exact. They need to go into quarantine for 2 weeks in a hotel, and they will be tested at the beginning when they arrive, and they will be tested at the end of their hotel stay, before they can start to study. Now, this is a pilot project. So this is kind of a test, an experiment to find out what happens, to see if it works. And of course, this is going to affect mostly students from China, as that is where the majority of Australian international students come from, China. So they're being put in this hotel, tested once at the beginning, tested at the end, and then if it all is good, they all pass, they are sent to the school. So it's an interesting strategy. So again, like New Zealand, I'm sure that the UK, Canada, USA, they're all watching closely to see how this experiment works before opening up their borders to travel. So we'll have to see what happens there. All right. Now, the next question I'm sure you're asking, well, James, give me some advice. Where should I go abroad? Where would you send your kids abroad if they have to go abroad? If they have the opportunity to go abroad right now, where should they go? Well, let me answer that question after this short break.
Subscribe to The James Rice Show on Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, or iHeartRadio. Don't miss an episode.
The Study It textbooks are the first ever completely digital and interactive English as a second language textbook series. Once downloaded, these textbooks do not require a Wi-Fi connection. Students and teachers can use them anywhere, anytime. Used in over 40 schools, universities, and NGOs worldwide. Study It is the future of English teaching. Visit www.studyitbooks.com for more information.
All right, so you're going to go abroad. It doesn't matter. You have to go abroad. You really want to go abroad, and you do not want to do the online trial lesson experience in the different worlds and different countries that I suggested in the last segment. You want to go abroad. You've been saving money. You have the time. Perhaps you want to improve yourself, improve your situation. Maybe you lost your job, and this is the time to go abroad. Here is my view. If you really want to study abroad, you need to look at how countries handled COVID-19 and which country makes you feel comfortable and which country do you think is the most risk. The concern everyone has right now is with the second wave. What if I go abroad and another wave of the virus hits? Well, in terms of each country, New Zealand was far and away at the top of this list. They did an amazing job to control and take care of students. So my advice would be check out New Zealand first and see what they offer. Canada would be next, including, Canada did a great job, including offering some money for students who were working and lost their jobs. That was a rare, and that was significant. But Canada did get the mask information wrong. All right, so should you wear a mask? Should you not wear a mask? Canada has corrected that position, and they are now making masks mandatory. The question in Canada remains, will schools survive? And it is a little too early to say yes or no on that question. So, again, you want to make sure you're protecting yourself if you're going to Canada, making sure that you go to a school that has a DLI number and is registered with Languages Canada, because they do provide protection for students who travel to Canada. So that means if the school goes bankrupt, you will be transferred to another Languages Canada school. So a little bit of protection there to take care of you while you're studying abroad. So that would be second place, would be Canada. Third place, I would say Australia. All right, now they did a really poor job early on with the pandemic, but they have realized their errors, kind of like Canada, and they have done a great job of late trying to help international students and schools in general. Now, there is a lot still unknown about their plans, and it may become clearer this month or next month. So you do want to watch and see what Australia is doing, all right? Because they could jump ahead of Canada, actually. All right, they're doing a good job. They're trying out some new ideas. They're experimenting, and they're really getting well prepared. And I would say they may be looking at moving ahead of Canada in some respects. So watch Australia. But as of right now, I would put them in third place on my list of destinations. Next would be the UK, fourth place. The UK, like the USA, they started really terribly with the pandemic. I mean, their early strategy was plain wrong and just generally bad. It wasn't until really Boris Johnson, the prime minister, he got the coronavirus. He got the virus, almost killed him. And that country said, hey, maybe we got to get serious about this. And they did, and they've done a better job. So I got to give them credit. But still, they do not have a great plan yet. And because they do not have a great plan in terms of the government, in terms of how they're handling it, schools are under great financial strain. And there's lots of questions about how the schools will run. And it could all collapse. It could all collapse in England if they don't get some support from government. Catastrophic, 30%. I mean, this could be a disaster area. All right, so there's a lot of fumbling going on in the UK, and they have some problems. The good news, again, they seem to understand it. The question is, can they fix it? All right, that's what you got to remember. You got to think about. Just because they know and the politicians are saying all these nice words, are they actually going to fix it? Are they going to actually do something to support schools, to support international students? And what is that something? So be careful of governments who talk nicely about how important international students are. All governments all around the world, they all understand that you are important. But how are they going to support you? And how are they going to support the school that you are going to make sure that it does not close? All right, so nice words are nice words. Action is action. So we want to see that. And Canada, Australia, New Zealand have, put together some good action plans. UK, still fumbling around a bit. All right, now, it would seem, obviously, that I'm picking the United States as the last destination to go to. Well, don't go to the USA. Well, yes and no. The USA is complicated. It is not an easy place to figure out in terms of studying abroad. Each state, each city is a little different. And obviously right now, Florida, Texas, Arizona, California, these are places that you should probably avoid. Just not visit them. But for example, you got to watch because, for example, New York, a couple of months ago, I would say do not go to New York City. I mean, they had a disaster in New York City, but they've really gotten the virus under control. And they're getting more strict, and they're taking it a lot more serious. And New York is showing lots of good progress. And so, watch those states and see how they do it. But, there has been very little support for international students or schools in any way, really. I mean, at least publicly, it's a confusion. There's immigration confusion. There's visa confusion. So it's really, really hard to say go to the USA. And I think the USA, and specifically some cities or states in the USA, they really need to do a marketing push to explain what is happening in those cities, especially if they are really, really safe, because the media in the United States is portraying the USA as a disaster. Mostly, of course, the reason why the media is doing this is to attack Donald Trump and to get him out of the office of presidency. But that attack will hurt the United States' reputation and may push international students to seek other destinations. However, short-term pain to get rid of an unpopular president, that seems to be the message that the media is putting forth. So all that leads me to suggest that you be very, very careful when choosing your destination in the USA. Again, my strong advice, if you can go online, try the classes, travel the world by studying online. See which school, see which country, see which teachers you like best. This, right now, 2020, is an incredible opportunity for you to travel the world, try new courses, try new schools, and then 2021, study abroad.
Have you subscribed to James's newsletter? When you subscribe, you will receive a free Study It ESL textbook. Visit www.thejamesriceshow.com for more information and join today.
All right, welcome back, everybody, and I hope that information will help you students to decide what to do this year, 2021. 2020, actually. I'm already talking about 2021. Look at that. So, it's just gone. 2020 is gone in my mind. Unless you want to go to college or university or high school. I mean, there's still opportunities there. For September, everybody's doing online, so you can pick up an online course. Maybe start in September or start in January. There's still some opportunities. But short-term language courses, language ESL courses, things like that, just do it online. That's all I can say to you at this point. And there's some great programs. There are great programs out there. So let's take a look at our top 10 listeners for this week and see who was listening to our show and where they're coming in from. Stephanie, our lovely producer, throw that up on my screen. Thank you so much. And we first have Canada. Canada, number one. All right, well, it's obvious we're in Canada, so nice to have our Canadian listeners back. Vietnam, number two. Vietnam, great. I mean, Vietnam has done an amazing job. Congratulations to our Vietnamese students out there. You guys did an amazing job at stopping COVID-19. I mean, fantastic. Well done. And I know many schools are going to be marketing in Vietnam because of how well you did. So great job, everybody, in Vietnam. Korea, number three. And welcome back to my Korean friends. And you guys also a tremendous job at controlling COVID-19. Congratulations to my Korean friends. Number four, United States. Number five, Japan. Number six, Brazil. So we see a fall from our Brazilian friends down to number six. And you guys are busy with other things. And I wish you guys well. And I support you in terms of how you guys are doing down there. India next, followed by Mexico, Poland, and then France. So thank you to everybody for listening this week to the James Rice Show. And reminder, we have Tuesday our IELTS tips, Wednesday English is Crazy, Thursday Teacher Talk. So teachers, if you want to listen, tune into our Teacher Talk on Thursday. Friday, the Apply Wave ladies talking about where to study abroad, different locations. And Saturday, we have our free English lessons. All right. So again, I hope this helped everybody, and I hope everybody has a great, great week. We'll see you back here Monday for a fresh new episode. And remember, everyone, to be crazy.
Thanks for listening to The James Rice Show. Don't forget to subscribe to our newsletter and send us your questions or comments at www.thejamesriceshow.com.